Om Shanti. 14th April 2020, in today's Babdada Sakar Murli, Baba is saying that there is no point in remembering the perishable bodies. You need to be very, very cautious about yourself. You need to be busy in decorating yourself. Today there is this trend of fashion. People are so much busy into decorating their bodies, etc. But Baba says there is no point in decorating this perishable bodies because everything, including this eye that you're seeing, is going to get destroyed. Nothing is going to last forever. So instead of keeping an eye on the body or getting attracted towards any name and form, it's important for you to remain firm and vigilant with the Father so that you can get the inheritance completely. Baba said that suppose if a father is having 5 to 7 children, then the attention of those children will definitely be on the father, that in future they are going to receive the kingdom, or you can say the inheritance of their father. So Baba says similarly, you children should also keep an eye. You unlimited children should also keep an eye with the father, to the father, that will be receiving his inheritance. And Baba's inheritance is to have a very Satapradhan state, to be full in all the divine virtues that we can think of, to be 100% charged so that we all can go to Satyug. And Satyug, Baba said that in Satyug you'll be having pure and natural beauty. He also explained the impact or the consciousness of the soul by giving the example of house arrest. That suppose if somebody puts himself in house arrest, despite the body, despite that individual is free, still he decides to be inside the home, or you can say that particular house, so that he can perform his duties, his work more accurately. So Baba says similarly, a soul puts itself in arrest inside this body so that the soul can perform actions. But that doesn't mean that the soul is trapped in the body. The soul is still free. It's just that the soul need to be absolutely conscious and aware of the fact that it is independent of this body. So Baba also said that this is the foreign land and there is no point of keeping any attention to it. He said, if you don't remain in remembrance with the Father, then there has to be a lot of punishment waiting for you. And apart from punishment, there will be huge realization inside us that we wasted a lot of time. Baba said you should keep the chart of your daily routine, that if you're busy in creating chaos, or in case if you're killing your time by not doing anything productive. And Baba blessed us by saying that may your stock of all powers become full and you receive the status of a world emperor. Basically, Baba said that there is no point of just benefiting yourself with the knowledge. You should also think about others. And by the way, on the other hand, Baba says, don't think about anybody else, just keep remembering me. So basically here Baba is asking we children to keep good intentions and good emotions for everybody. Baba said that your bodies, your minds, your wealth, time and even breath should be and will be continued to be used in a worthwhile way for the world benefit thing, because self-transformation is ultimately world transformation. Baba also said that even if you have a single weakness, so it is going to finish all your specialities. Therefore, it's important that you discard all the weaknesses. So now let's listen to the Murli in detail, where Babdada says, sweet children, do not have love for the perishable bodies, only have love for the one bodiless one, that is Shiv Baba. Even while seeing somebody's body, do not see it. Question is, what effort is required to make your intellect clean, and what is the sign of a clean intellect? So Baba says, only by becoming soul conscious will your intellect become clean. Such soul conscious children consider themselves to be souls and have love for the one Father alone. They only listen to the Father. However, those who have foolish intellects have love for bodies and they continue to decorate their bodies. Om Shanti. Who said Om Shanti and who heard it? In other satsangs, it is the followers who hear it. They would say that the Mahatma or the Guru said it, but here you would say that the Supreme Soul said it and that the souls heard it. That is, the Father said Om Shanti and we children are hearing Om Shanti. So this is something new, is it not? You have to become soul conscious. Some of you sit here in body consciousness. You children have to sit here in soul consciousness. I, the soul, am present in this body. Shiv Baba is explaining to us. So let your intellects remain this very clearly. Baba says, I, the soul, have a connection with the Supreme Soul. The Supreme Soul comes and speaks to us through this body. Therefore, this one has become the agent. That one is the one explaining to you, and he gives the inheritance to this one too. Therefore, let your intellects go to him. For instance, if a father has 5 to 7 children, their intellects, that is yog, would remain with their father, would it not? That is because they receive an inheritance from him. An inheritance is not received from a brother, and inheritance is always received from the father. A soul does not receive an inheritance from a soul, and you know that as souls we are all brothers. The connection of all of us souls is with the one Supreme Father, the Supreme Soul. He says, constantly remember me alone, have love for me alone, do not have love for the creation, become soul conscious. And when you remember any bodily being other than me, it is called body consciousness. Although this bodily being is in front of you and you must not see him, let only the remembrance of that one be in your intellects. Basically, Shiv Baba is telling us that you should not even remember Brahma Baba's body. Brahma Baba's body. Well, Baba says, although this bodily being is in front of you, you must not see him. Let only the remembrance of that one be in your intellects. Well, those people say, simply for the sake of saying it, that all are brothers. That means they don't really feel it. But Baba says that you now know that we are souls, children of the Supreme Father, the Supreme Soul, and you receive the inheritance from the Father, the Supreme Soul. That Father says, your love has to be for me alone. I myself come and engage you souls to me. This engagement is not a bodily being. All other relationships are basically here with the bodies. At the time, you have to become soul conscious. At this very time, you have to become soul conscious. I, the soul, am listening to the Father, therefore let your intellects be drawn to the Father. The Father sits beside this one and gives us knowledge. He has taken this body on loan. The soul enters the house, that is, this body, and plays a part. It is as though the soul puts himself under house arrest in order to play a part, and he is free, but he enters a body, locks himself in this house and plays his part. Amazing. It is the soul that leaves one body and takes another to play his part. At the present time, to the extent that you remain soul conscious, so you will accordingly claim a high status. You should not have even the slightest love for Baba's body. Just imagine Baba is saying, you should not have even the slightest love for Baba's body. This body is of no use. I enter this body just to explain to you, this foreign land is the kingdom of Ravan. People burn an effigy of Ravan, but neither do they understand anything about that, nor do they know anything about the images they create. Their intellects are totally foolish. Everyone's intellect becomes totally foolish in the kingdom of Ravan, and there is body consciousness. Is there not? Intellects have become degraded. The Father says those who have foolish intellects will continue to remember bodies and have love for bodily beings. Those with clean intellects, whilst considering themselves to be soul, will remember the Supreme Soul and continue to listen to him. Only in this is their effort, basically to consider yourself souls and to remain connected with the Father. Baba says this is all about the effort thing. This body is the Father's chariot. Many fall in love with this body. Similarly, the horse of Hussein is decorated so much, but the praise is of Hussein, is it not? Basically, the praise is of the horse rider, not of the horse. Baba says it is not of the horse. The Hussein soul would definitely have entered a human body, would he not? They don't understand these things. This is called the imperishable sacrificial fire of the knowledge of Rudra, in which the horse is sacrificed in order to attain self-sovereignty. Baba says, hearing the name Ashva, that is horse, they understood it literally to be a horse. Baba says it's not the horse, it's the body. Basically, the horse is the symbol of the body. They sacrifice a horse And all of those stories belong to the path of devotion. The one who is now making you beautiful is this traveler, is it not? You now know that we were beautiful previously and that we have now become ugly. Baba says each soul who comes is Sato Pradhan at first and then goes through the stages of Sato, Rajo and Tamo. The Father comes and makes everyone beautiful. All the souls that come to establish a religion are beautiful at first. Afterwards, they become ugly by sitting on the power of lust. Souls are beautiful at first and then gradually they become ugly. This soul comes first as number one, and so he is the most beautiful. No one else can be as naturally beautiful as Lakshmi and Narayan are. This is a matter of knowledge. Christians are fairer than the people of Bharat because they live in cooler climates. However, there is natural beauty in the golden age. Both souls and bodies are beautiful there. At this time, everyone is impure and ugly. The Father comes to make everyone beautiful. At first, they are Sato Pradhan and pure, and then, whilst coming down, they gradually become ugly by sitting on the power of lust. The Father has now come to make all souls pure. It is only by remembering the Father that you will become pure. Therefore, you must only remember the One. Do not love bodily beings. Keep it in your intellects that you belong to the one Father and that He is everything for you. Everything that you see with your eyes is going to be destroyed. Even your eyes will be finished for that matter. Shiv Baba says that the Supreme Father, the Supreme Soul, is called Trinetri, one with three eyes. He has the third eye of knowledge. That one has received all these titles, that is Trinetri, Trikaldarshi, Trilokinath. But you now have the knowledge of all three worlds. This will then disappear, and the one who has this knowledge comes and gives it to you. The Father sits here and gives you the knowledge of your 84 births. The Father says, consider yourselves to be souls. I have come and entered this body in order to make you pure. He also says that only by remembering me will you become pure. If you remember anyone else, you will not be able to become Sato Pradhan. It is said of those whose sins are not absolved and those whose intellects have no love at the time of destruction are led to destruction. Basically, the Vinash Kale Viprit Buddhi thing. So people have a lot of blind faith within. They have attachment to bodily beings, but you now have to become soul conscious, have attachment to the one alone. And if you have attachment to anyone else, it means that you have an intellect that has no longer love for the Father. The Father says so many times that only remember me, that is your Father, and only in this is their effort. You even called out, come and make us impure ones pure. Make us impure ones pure. And only the Father makes you pure. Only the Father explains the history and geography of 84 births to you children. It is easy, is it not? The most difficult subject is remembrance. No one is clever in having yoga with the Father. The children who are not clever in remembrance are like basically pandits. No matter how clever someone is in knowledge, if he does not stay in remembrance, he is a pandit. Baba tells you the story of the pandit. Those who heard what the pandit said were able to go across in remembrance of the Supreme Soul. Even the example of the pandit applies to you. Basically, you convey the knowledge to somebody, and if the listener, adapts the knowledge totally and stay in the remembrance of the Father, so he will get a better position than you. So Baba says, don't become pandits, have full remembrance. He says, Baba tells you the story of the pandit, right? Even the example of pandit applies to you. Remember the Father and you will be able to go across. Just by being good with the Murli will not enable you to go across. Without having remembrance, your sins cannot be absolved. All of these examples have been created, and the Father sits here and explains their accurate meanings to you. They had faith. They simply held on to the fact that they would be able to go across by remembering the Supreme Soul. If you only have remembrance, Baba says, and if you only have knowledge and no yoga, you cannot claim a high status. There are many who do not stay even in remembrance. The main thing is remembrance. There are many who do very good service, but if their intellect's yoga is not accurate, they become trapped. Someone who has yoga would not become trapped in body consciousness and would not have impure thoughts. Storms will come to those who are weak in remembrance. The physical senses are completely controlled by you. The Father also gives each of you an intellect to understand what is right and what is wrong. He says, when your intellect goes to the bodies of the others, it has no love for the Father and leads you to destruction. Knowledge is distinct from yoga. You receive health through yoga and wealth through knowledge. By having yoga, the lifespan of your body increases. Soul do not become smaller or larger. The soul would say that the lifespan of this body increases. The lifespan is now short, and then for half a cycle, the lifespan of bodies become long. We will become Satopradhan from Tamopradhan, and souls become pure. Everything depends on making the soul pure. And if you don't become pure, you cannot claim a status. Maya makes children lazy in keeping a chart, and you children should be very interested in keeping a chart of your pilgrimage of remembrance. Check, do I remember the Father, or is my intellect drawn to friends and relatives? In whose remembrance did I stay throughout the whole day? For whom did I have love? Basically, Baba says, how much time did I waste? Keep a chart of yourself. However, no one has the strength to keep a chart regularly. Hardly any of you can keep it. Maya does not allow you to maintain your chart fully, and she makes you completely lazy and destroys your alertness. The Father says, constantly remember me alone. I am beloved of. Basically, I am the beloved of all you lovers. In Hindi, we call it Ashik and Mashuk. So Baba says, therefore, all of you lovers must remember me, must you not? The Father, the Beloved, says, you have been remembering me for half a cycle. I am telling you to remember me so that your sins can be absolved. You should very much remember such a Father who gives you so much happiness. Everyone else causes sorrow, and they will not be of any use. At the end, only the Father, the Supreme Soul, will be of use. There are the limited and the unlimited final moments. The Father says, by continuing to remember me very well, you will not have untimely death. I am making you immortal. However, first of all, your intellects must be full of love for the Father. If you have love for anyone's body, you will fall and fail. You will become part of the Moon Dynasty. The Golden Age Sun Dynasty Kingdom is called Heaven. The Silver Age is not called Heaven. Similarly, there are the Copper Age and Iron Ages. The Iron Age is called Extreme Tamopradhan Hell. The Copper Age is not so Tamopradhan. In order to become Satopradhan from Tamopradhan, you have to have remembrance. When you have love for a particular person and think that you cannot benefit without that one's support, you can understand for yourself what would happen if you left your body in such a state. Everything is destroyed for those whose intellects have no love at the time of destruction. I repeat, everything is destroyed for those whose intellects have no love at the time of destruction. And the vice versa is also true. Everything is perfect for those whose intellects have love at the time of destruction. Basically, Antmati Sogati. The direction of your intellect will be in the state of your mind at the time of death or the final moment. So they claim a status worth dust. Nowadays, even being fashionable causes problem, and people make their bodies tip-top in order to attract others. Baba says, the Father now simply says, children, do not become trapped in anyone's name or form. Just look how royal the clothes of Lakshmi and Narayan are. That is the temple of Shiv, and this is called a brothel. Devotees go in front of the deity idols and say, we are residents of this brothel. Nowadays, fashion is such a problem that everyone's attention is drawn to fashionable ones, who are then kidnapped. So in the Golden Age, everyone behaves and acts according to the law. There is natural beauty there. There is no question of blind faith. Here people's heart are drawn to one another simply by looking at each other. Then they also marry someone of another religion. You now have godly intellects. No one except the Father can change you from those with stone intellects into those with divine intellects. That is Ravan's community, and you now belong to Ram's community. The Pandavas and Kauravas belong to the same community, but the Yadavas are Europeans, and no one can understand from the Gita that the Yadavas are Europeans. They say that Yadav community is also here, and the Father sits here and explains that the Yadavas are the Europeans who create those missiles, etc., for their own destruction. The Pandavas gain victory and they become the masters of the heaven. Only the Supreme Soul comes and establishes heaven, and it says in the scriptures that the Pandavas melted. What happened then? They have no understanding. They have stone intellects, and no one understands the secret of the drama even a little. When children come to meet Baba, Baba says, you may wear jewelry, etc. And children say, Baba, it doesn't seem right to wear jewelry here. How could jewelry look right on the impure body of an impure soul? There, you will remain decorated with jewelry, etc. There is limitless wealth basically, and there is nothing but happiness for everyone. Although they are aware of that one being the king and that they are part of the subject, so there is no question of sorrow. Here, when people do not receive food, etc., they experience sorrow, and there you receive everything. The word sorrow never emerges from anyone's mouth there. The very name is heaven, and Europeans call it paradise. They believe that gods and goddesses lived there. This is why they buy so many of their images. Nevertheless, where did that heaven go? No one knows this. You now know how this cycle turns. The world changes from old to new and new to old. A lot of effort is required to become soul conscious. When you become soul conscious, you will be liberated from all of these innumerable illness. By remembering the Father, you will claim a high status. Acha. To the sweetest, beloved, long lost and now found children, love, remembrance and good morning from the mother, the father and Bapdada. The spiritual father says namaste to the spiritual children, and we spiritual children say namaste to the spiritual father. Essence for dharana is, never make your bodily being your support. Any bodily being your support. Do not have love for anyone's body. The love of the heart must only be for the one Father. Never become trapped in anyone's name or form. Be interested in keeping a chart of your remembrance. Do not become lazy in this, and check your chart to see. Baba says, so that you can understand who is my intellect drawn towards. How much time do I waste? For how long do I remember the Father who gives me happiness? Blessing, may your stock of all powers become full and you receive the status of a world emperor. Souls who are to attain the status of a world emperor will not make effort just for themselves. To overcome the obstacles and tests that come in your life is very common, but the souls who are to become world emperor will have a full stock of all powers from now. Every second and thought of theirs will be for others. Their bodies, minds, wealth, time and breath will continue to be used in a worthwhile way for world benefit. And slogan is, even one weakness finishes many specialities, therefore discard all weaknesses. Om Shanti.